Okay, guys. Good afternoon. Hope everyone had a good weekend. Getting ready for Cal this week. Obviously, a little bit different for us on a Monday. We'll be practicing tonight because tomorrow, being election day, is mandatory day off for all NCAA student athletes. So we'll be practicing tonight, and about 7 o'clock, I think we're going outside. So we're trying to get most of the game planning in yesterday and today. We were out practicing last night as well. So guys had great attitude, great spirit on the field, ran around pretty good for a day after a game. Liked the way we competed through the game. Disappointed in, again, there was a couple of opportunities that we had first and goal on the 8-yard line. Had a chance to hit a touchdown pass on first down, had a chance to hit a touchdown pass on third down, and wound up kicking a field goal down there. Had a first and goal on the 3 that got called back for a holding penalty. Had a first and 10 on the 14 that was called back for an illegal formation. So a couple of things that were just costly. Defensively, obviously, we struggled early to stop them. Clearly, I would say Drake London's probably one of, if not the best players in the country. Prayers go out to him, obviously losing the rest of his season due to an injury, which is just heartbreaking for everybody when injuries occur like that. But I'm sure he'll battle back and be good to go. But we clearly were able to settle down when he wasn't in the game. We played really good football. And, started getting some stops there, and I think we held them just to a few points in the second half. So that was a positive. Team's getting better. Team's certainly improving, understanding our systems better, both offensively and defensively. And special teams-wise, you could see our special teams has improved the last few weeks. Missed a kick again, which looked like the snap was a little high, a little slow, messed up the timing there. But executed a fake punt, kicked off very well, covered punts extremely well, and had a chance there at the end with an onside kick. So, again, not where we want to be at this point in the season, but we are building it, and you could see we're putting some good games together.
Justin, do you have an update on Jamari?
I do not believe he'll be able to go this week. I'm not positive on that. It does not seem to be season ending. He'll have to wear a brace, play with a brace. But from what I just gathered, that it's not going to be nothing surgical, more rehab on the knee. So I would put him as doubtful for this game, but I would expect him to hopefully come back before the season ends.
Will Plummer said after the USC game that something clicked this week, but he didn't know what it was. Do you have an idea what it was offensively, what happened for him this week?
I think confidence is what kind of clicked, would be my guess. I would say that probably what it was his ability to just kind of, it slowed down for him. And I think that's kind of what clicked the most. And also, we encourage him all week, be aggressive. You can't just play the game to not make a mistake. That usually is what gets you. And it seemed as if as the practice week went on, I think I mentioned it on that Thursday, he was just more aggressive. So the ball was kind of flying down the field more. And I think that maybe that kind of message clicked with him of just like, hey, let it rip. Maybe it was, there's no one behind me that's going to be taking my spot, so I have the freedom to go play the best I possibly can play. And then I think he started seeing the field better. I think he understands the offense better.
I'm assuming that Jamari would have played more had he not been hurt. But does this kind of almost fall into your lap that Will played most of the game without alternating, and that would be the scenario this week, that it works in his favor, that he already knows what that's going to be like?
Yeah, probably Jamari would have had probably an additional 8 more plays in the game would be my guess at the quarterback position, wildcat position, whatever you want to call it. So Will had those. I would think moving forward, that'll just, every day that he plays quarterback in our offense is a day he should get better in it. and every rep he takes. So not splitting the reps in practice will probably benefit Will. Will probably benefit his relationship with the receivers, where they start understanding his timing and his accuracy. And I think that will probably benefit him as we continue on.
And the scrambles that he did, were those him or was that design?
No, those were him. We tell him scramble forward, north-south, not east-west. And early in the season, there was a lot of going sideways and backwards with our scrambles. And we made a huge point of emphasis in our drill work during the week that, when there's A-gap openings, that's how you have to take advantage between the center and the guard. When you get back there and you move in the pocket, when you see that center and the guard open up, that's where the scrambles become positive yards. When it's cluttered inside and you go sideways, that's when holdings occur. So I hats off to him for taking advantage of those.
Jedd, how did you assess the offensive line play overall? There were some great pockets that allowed Will to kind of ride up and work, and then obviously he also took the 5 sacks, so it was kind of up and down. Or how did you see it?
Yeah, one of the sacks was on Jamari on one of his, it was actually a negative 2-yard run that considered a sack because he was the one that got the snap. The other 4, I would say, probably 2 were on the quarterback, 2 were on the offensive line. You got to get the ball out. Sometimes you get a blitz look and you got to throw hot, or you've got a pressure situation where you got 5 mano-a-mano blockers and you got to take a shot down the field, and you can't wait for something to come open. When you have a one-on-one, you got to take it. I thought the offensive line for the most part played well. We got to be better at run blocking though. We need to really secure up our run blocking. I don't want to just run for 125 or 130 yards a game. I think we need to be at that 180 mark. And to get to that 180 mark, we have to be able to break a run more than 6 yards and sustain a block. We had that 23-yard run that got called back on the jet sweep. That would have helped us. But we need to do a better job there.
Do you have any additional updates on guys who either didn't play against USC or might have gotten banged up against USC?
No, I'm waiting to hear on both Paris Shan and Donovan Lay. Both of those guys were a little dinged up during the game. So we have to wait to see how they do this week. They will not be practicing tonight. All the running backs are back. Bryce Woma should be good to go on Saturday. That will be our plan there. All the receivers, other than Jamari, will be good to go. Defensive line, Mo Diallo wasn't able to finish the game with a hip pointer, waiting to hear back on his MRI there on how he's doing. We got to see. So I don't expect him to practice. He did not practice last night. Keon Bars was unable to play. I'm hopeful that he'll be able to play this Saturday. I would put him probably in that probable category. And then on the back end, Gunnar Maldonado, we got to see how his shoulder does. Jackson Turner obviously was removed because of the penalty, so he'll be back.
Your last 2 home games are noon games here. Do you have a preference at all, day game, night game?
Whichever one will win. That's my preference. I like to wake up and play. That's always fun. That's what a noon game gives you. Want a crowd there. I don't know what a noon game looks like in that regard. I think it's homecoming. Our kids have battled. I don't think there's any defeat in our players at all. And I would hope that we get a huge crowd, the best we can for a homecoming opportunity there at a noon kickoff. No, I always say the nighttime games are cool because it's like a Monday night, a Sunday night. You always dream of those games at night under the lights. But our guys get so much of that the chance to mix it up a little bit at noon will be good. But it's different. We don't practice in the mornings. We practice in the afternoon. 4 o'clock has been the time we practice all year. So we got to get our body clocks right to be able to go play at noon.
What are your thoughts on Cal's defense?
I've always thought that Coach Wilcox has always done a very good job defensively of being extremely sound and have great tacklers. That's continued to be the case. They don't give you a ton of different looks. as much as what they do is they play extremely fundamentally sound. They keep teams to, for the most part, low scoring. Most of their games are in that 21, very similar to Washington. I would say they're most comparable to a Washington-type defense, which, we have to be able to move the ball against those guys, and it's always been a challenge. They play complementary football. Their offense holds the ball for 31 and a half minutes a game. So the defense is out there the least amount, I think, in the Pac-12. So they do a nice job there. And they got a lot of players that are playing at a high level, effort and tackling-wise.
I want to ask you about two things that happened in the game on Saturday. The first one was, did you consider challenging the spot on that 4th and 1 play at about the 35, 36-yard line?
I asked them if that was a challengeable one, and they said they've already looked at it and they're not moving it because the whistle, he was blown dead. So even if I challenged it, as long as they're blown dead, they can't move anything. Now, I challenged the one later in the game on the 3rd and 1, which they called the 1st and 10, which they moved it back to a 3rd and 1 with 1:40 left. But that's because the whistle didn't blow. So that was the explanation I was given by the officials on that scenario.
The illegal formation.
I couldn't challenge it.
Was that an illegal formation?
Did you see the picture?
I did. I don't know if I understand all the rules.
Yeah, that one is what I was told by the officials is that Stanley Berryhill was on the line of scrimmage.
Okay.
We saw Dorian Singer, and you mentioned him after the game. With 4 games left in the season, do you anticipate putting in some guys that haven't really seen much time, knowing that you're not going to risk any red shirt on them? There's maybe 24 or so guys that haven't played of the scholarship ones.
No. We'll absolutely play the best 22 that we can play every game. If there's a guy that has an ability that can help us, that we feel as if, the red shirt's not a factor anymore, maybe we could, get somebody more involved. Dorian's was really more so that he earned the right to play, and he was the best X that we had at that moment in time. Booby Curry got hurt. I do expect Booby back, but that won't affect Dorian. And then additionally with Dorian is he needed to get better understanding of having 3 good days of practice and understanding what his role was going to be as the X receiver. He had to, make sure he didn't make mental mistakes when he got in there.
Time for a couple more, Michael.
What are your thoughts on Jalen Harris's performance in this game and just sort of how he's improved and developed?
Yeah.
Over the season?
I think Jalen, sometimes we get wrapped up in some of Pandy's splash plays or C-Rose plays because you can kind of see more individually isolated guys in a one-on-one setup. But if you look at the way Jalen Harris has not only improved all year, but led all year, he is a war daddy. I mean, he took 83 snaps in the game, I believe the number was. That is incredible for a defensive lineman. I can't think of a game ever in my 22 years of coaching that a defensive lineman took every snap in the game without being subbed out once. And then that sack that he had on the 60th play or whatever the exact number was, where he literally just absolutely did everything needed against against the offensive tackle to get in there and then cause the ball on the ground. The ball went on the ground too. So not only did he get the sack, it was a caused fumble. The quarterback recovered it, but I can't say enough about the way he's competing, and he's a captain, rightfully so, quiet leader, does everything right on the practice field, and hopefully we'll have him back next year.
It looked like he got held on their second touchdown. Do you coach your guys in any particular way when they're being held to, flop?
To flail or flop.
Flail or anything?
I mean, no. I'm hopeful that, those are seen. I think there's a natural reaction by some linemen that if you're getting pulled, you kind of do, the movement of like, hey, I'm getting pulled or held. But I think sometimes Jalen is just competing and trying to play through it. I would say that defensive linemen are accustomed to being held. So I mean, it just is the way of the world, right? You're not going to call holding on every penalty on every play, so you just got to play through it.
Last question, Damien.
Jedd, you've talked the past few weeks about this idea of mindfulness. What exactly is mindfulness, and how did the USC game perhaps show as an example of the team actually embracing that?
Yeah, we talk about just getting your mind and your body in the same place at the same time. Not let your mind wander on what potentially might be going to happen, did just happen, or could happen, to be able to actually play in the presence, in the present tense of what's going on for every play. One of the things that we talk about is being able to not just go out there and play one play at a time, but be able to play your best play one play at a time. And to be able to put your mind, and your body in one is kind of different activities and different things we do the night before the game. It's also about understanding how to handle distractions. It's about understanding how to have different things going at you at the same time, and what are you going to be able to do to stay focused and do your job during that time. And then also, if a negative play occurs, how quickly can you snap back and then get ready for the next play. I believe that, it's 35-14 at halftime. We had some plays that we were disappointed in the first half that we didn't finish. There was no flinch by the team. Went back out there and played probably our best second half of football. I guess the BYU game, we had a good second half as well. But it felt different. Just felt like we were, we just felt like a really good team in that second half. So hopefully it's working. Hopefully the guys' mind and body are, coming together at the right time, and they're just going to continue to improve and embrace the do-your-job mentality and not, looking at crystal ball, but just kind of play one play at a time.
All right, thank you, everybody. We are filming something with Coach, so if we could wrap this up as quick as possible, that'd be great. Thank you.
Thank you.